Alright, so it's officially been 3 days since the release of the Lost Jungle update. And honestly, one of the things that I keep getting asked over and over again is about these 3 brand new rods that were introduced over here in the crafting section inside of the Ancient Archives. Now, I'll be honest, most of the questions that I'm getting for the Vineweaver as well as for the Toxic are mostly from newer players because they're sort of confused on the entire sort of like appraisal and stuff like that. But I am getting a wide spread of questions from people asking about the Elder Mossripper. So in today's video, we're going to go ahead and show you guys how you craft each and every single one of these, where you need to specifically go to be able to get some of these materials that you need, as well as, you know, your chances, your likelihoods, and all of that stuff, so you understand what you're getting yourself into as you're trying to craft all of these rods. So of course, we're going to go ahead and start off in order here, and I've also gone ahead and waited until this very moment to go ahead and craft every single one of these rods, so we're going to be doing it together, starting off obviously with the Vineweaver rod. Over here we have 80% lure speed, 117% luck, 0.1 control, 40% resilient with an infinite max kg. The real selling point here is obviously its passive ability, where it goes ahead and basically in the final 30% stage of actually catching a fish, it sort of like halts it or freezes it. But besides that, you also get a 30% chance of gaining the Vined mutation, which I'll go ahead and show you guys all of that in just a bit. First, let's get started with the materials here. So for starters, it is going to cost you 150,000 in-game credits to be able to craft this. Besides that, you're going to need 1 vine driftwood, 1 vine line, and 1 vined mauve pearl. For the vine driftwood, the unfortunate reality here is that you sort of have 2 options, because technically the third option is the rod itself, which obviously you can't use that in order to get it. Your second option is to fish inside of the Lost Jungle itself. It is sort of just like a random mutation that happens over there. Probably not the most recommended thing, unless you're just going to sort of take the approach where you kind of let the game take its course, and then whenever you get it, if you just so happen to get lucky and get it, then you'll come over here and craft it. But realistically, the approach that you want to take is unfortunately the appraiser. To get the vine mutation, it is a 0.12% chance to be able to get it. Yes, it's going to probably cost you a lot. It's probably going to take a really long time, but unfortunately, that is the only way for you to be able to get it. So literally, good luck to every single one of you. Now, the next item that we're needing here is the vine line. For this one, we've made our way over to the Lost Jungle because we need to specifically go back inside of the temple, which if you're watching this video and you have not completed the temple, then unfortunately, you do need to go ahead and at the very least, complete the specific room that I am about to go ahead and show you guys. So again, here we are in the Lost Jungle in the center. We're going to go ahead and take the rope down. Or of course, if you have the temple eye, then just go ahead and fast forward to here. Now, if you are just coming in here for the very first time, remember that right in front of the Jungle Adventure, there is a map which actually has a mark now of where you are standing at the current moment. Unfortunately, it still doesn't really tell you the numbers of every single one of them. If you want a map that already has all of the numbers, I do have a full guide video on my channel that you can go and check out. In our case, we already know that we're going to room number 4, so it's going to be this one over here on the left-hand side. So according to this map, we're going to be making a left, then another left, then a right, another right, and it should be right there. So let's go this way. We're going to make a left and then another right, just like how it says. We're going to be passing here room number 3, continue going down, make another right, and room number 4 should be right here on our left-hand side. This is the Vine room. If you were in my live stream, you know how much I hate this room. But the point is that once you complete this room and that rune comes down from up there and you collect it, you will instantly be rewarded with the vine line that you need for that rod. Now, the next item on the list is going to be the vined mauve pearl, this one right here that I am holding. And if you notice, we've made our way over here to Roslet. And the reason why we're here is because this is exactly where you're going to be able to get it, which unfortunately, once again, you do need to go ahead and get yourself a mauve pearl and then head over to the appraisal in order to unfortunately get it to vined. So yes, you will have to pretty much do this 2 times, but if you notice, we're traveling all the way to the back of Roslet right now because over here is exactly where you're going to want to be. If we turn on our radar over here, you'll notice that there is a bunch of clam abundances over here, which technically you could land on this island or you could stay sort of on the outer edges here and just fish down. But these clam abundances is where you're going to want to be fishing in order to be able to get your hands on the mauve pearl. To be more specific, it is a 7.83% chance for you to be able to get this. So it is a little bit on the rare side, but it honestly shouldn't be all that difficult. Once you've gotten your hands on that, just go ahead and make your way over to the appraisal over at Moosewood and get ready for a very long journey. Now, assuming that you've done all of that and you have your 150K, congratulations, you can go ahead and craft yourself one of the Vineweaver rods. This rod unfortunately does not have any mastery, but this is basically what it looks like right here. I believe I have performance mode turned on, so let me turn that off really quick. Okay, this is what it looks like right here. Sorry about that. As you can see right here, this is basically what it looks like. If you notice right there, it sort of froze a bit, and that's for the final 30%, which is actually pretty good, to be honest. Again, you sort of just have to get it a little bit over halfway, and then it pretty much just like freezes it. I mean, it's actually a really cool passive ability. And then if you notice right here, we ended up getting a Vine mutation fish. So there it is right there, what the mutation looks like. Again, a really cool looking one. A moss jaw, or maybe even like a megalodon, a Scylla with this mutation would look super sick. But yeah, let's move on now to the toxic. All right, so here we are with the toxic Spire rod. This one is 87 lure speed, 248% luck, 0.3 control, negative 20% resilience with an infinite max kg. Now, once again, to my knowledge, I believe that the passive ability on this is that the actual resilience, or I guess like fight for it, sort of slows down, which is sort of confusing because it is a negative 20%. We're going to check it out exactly, because I do know that it says that a 15% toxic strike will paralyze it completely, granting 70% faster progress, which sounds really good. Adding on to that, it also has pretty much like a permanent plus 20% progress speed, if I'm understanding that correctly. But now, once again, we're going over all of the stuff that you need to be able to craft this. It's 170,000 credits in order for you to be able to purchase this, starting with the first item being a poison driftwood. I know you probably already know what's going to happen and what I'm going to say, but yes, unfortunately, you do need to catch yourself a driftwood and take this to the appraiser, because technically speaking, there is only two ways to be able to get it. That's fishing inside of the Lost Jungle and getting it from the appraiser at a 0.15% chance. For the second item being the toxic core, we're going to make our way back to the temple now so I can show you guys exactly what room this is going to be in. All right, so here we are. We are in front of room number 2. And just as I mentioned before, this is where you're going to make your way over. It is unfortunately the obby room. It's quite literally very simple. Once you complete this room, which is again room number 2, you will be rewarded at the very end all the way up here with the toxic core that you need. It's very simple. Just complete the obby and you'll be rewarded with it. Now, as soon as you do get that, make sure that you don't leave this area, because you are going to need another item from in here, being the murky thread. And for that, we need to unfortunately travel from room number 2 all the way to room number 5. So as you can see, right in front of us is room number 5. As you guys know, to be able to complete this, you basically need to go ahead and follow the path that is right above you. It's quite simple, honestly. I did it first try. I literally did not fail a single time. There is sort of a trick that you can fly across, but I do believe that they patched it, if I'm gonna be honest with you. So if you haven't completed this room already, then unfortunately you will have to do this whole puzzle thing, which is, again, not really a big deal. I did it first try. Once you reach the very end over there, you will be rewarded with a murky thread. Now, at this point, make your way back to the ancient archives. You should technically now have every single item that you need. Your poison driftwood, your toxic core, as well as the murky thread. We can go ahead and now craft our brand new toxic Spire rod. As you can see right here, this is what it looks like. Very cool looking rod. I ain't gonna lie to you, I do think that the Vineweaver is a little bit cooler, but still, let's go ahead and check out here really quickly how this performs, specifically for that passive ability. I'm actually really curious to see how this is going to work, and really how often it happens, because it doesn't really seem like we got anything going on there. Let's see for this next one here. I'm not really seeing it doing anything crazy, so it doesn't really seem like it's as common as the other one. Maybe it is just kind of what I said, where it sort of like slows it down, because I do kind of see like what normally would be black or gray bar, it seems to be progressively turning purple. I could also be wrong. Like if you notice, look at it, right now it's kind of like a blue, but progressively as the longer that we're fishing, it's turning purple. So I guess that's just sort of what it does. Based off of how difficult it is, the longer that you're catching the fish, the more purple it turns and the slower that the actual resilience gets. That's actually pretty cool. Now, a lot of you have probably fast forwarded to this part of the video because realistically, this is the one that a lot of people are getting stuck on. And that, of course, is the Elder Mossripper. Now, let's go ahead and start off with obviously the stats for this. We have 90% lure speed, 215% luck, 0.2 control, 50% resilience with an infinite max kg. But now the passive is really the kind of like mind-blowing kicker around here. So for starters, this rod basically forces the weight of the fish to increase by 45%. On top of that, it also has a 20% chance to go ahead and slap on the Shrouded mutation and a 5% to slap on the Moss mutation. On top of all of that, it also has a plus 30% progress speed, making this by far one of the most sought after rods in the entire update. Now, keep in mind, it is going to cost you 350,000 in-game credits to be able to purchase this. And for the materials that you need, it is 1 Elder Moss Jaw, 1 Mossy Core, which is what a lot of you are getting confused on, and 1 Shrouded Golden Sea Pearl. Now, for the Elder Moss Jaw, you will have to basically either catch it yourself, obviously, or you can trade for it. It doesn't really matter either or, but the reality is that you still are going to have to catch a Moss Jaw. And the reason for this is because if we move on over to the second item that you need inside of here, it is a Mossy Core. The way that you get this is simply by catching 1 Moss Jaw. And to do this, of course, we come back over here to the temple. You need to make sure that you've completed every single one of the temple room challenges. Place each and every single one of the runes that you get here at the entrance, and this door right here is going to open where you will then have access to the Moss Jaw area. If you need help with the temple rooms, I do have a full guide on my channel that you can go and check out for yourself. It quite literally holds your hand through the entire process. But yeah, you just basically have to wait inside of here until a Moss Jaw spawns. There's a couple of things that are sort of being spread around that are not exactly true. Like, for example, a sundial will not help you in any type of way to get this Moss Jaw to spawn. It is based off of server uptime. So I believe it's like every 10 minutes, there's like a 10% chance for the Moss Jaw to actually spawn. So no matter how many times you pop a sundial, it's just not going to do anything. And no, this isn't based off of any test or anything. This is literally confirmed from a developer. Now, again, if you want to do this completely the natural way, you can go ahead and hope and sort of pray that you end up getting an Elder Moss Jaw in your first attempt, so that way you can knock out the Elder Moss Jaw as well as the Mossy Core. But the reality is that it's not easy to get an Elder Moss Jaw to spawn. My suggestion to you is potentially be on the lookout in the Discord server when people announce that they got a Moss Jaw in their server or something like that. The unfortunate reality is that you're probably going to spend a lot of time AFKing inside these rooms in different servers, just hoping that something spawns. Either way, once you've gone ahead and caught your very first Moss Jaw, doesn't matter whether it's Elder or regular, you will be rewarded with the Mossy Core. Now remember, the final item that we need is a Shrouded Golden Pearl, and this one is not going to be easy in any aspect whatsoever. The reason for this is because, again, here we are at Roslet. We're going to make our way back to the same exact area that we were getting the Mauve Pearl, because this is exactly where you're going to be fishing. Hopefully you got one of them while you were in the process of trying to get that Mauve Pearl, or maybe you went ahead and knocked them both out at the same time. But yes, you're going to be back here fishing for a Golden Sea Pearl, which for context is a 0.16% chance, or a 1 in 625 chance. It's fairly rare, and on top of that, you are also going to have to take it to the appraisal to get it shrouded. This is going to be the part that's a little bit painful, but unfortunately, to get it shrouded through the appraisal, it is a 0.03% chance. So yes, it is going to be very expensive, take a very long time, but at the end of it all, you are getting yourself a pretty insane rod. With that being said, we've now made our way back over here to the archive, and we're going to go ahead and finally craft the final sort of like sought after rod right now, which is of course the Elder Mossripper. Let's go ahead and grab that really quick. And this is what it looks like right here, which, surprise, 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 there is a mastery for this. So in case you're curious, There is a total of 3 masteries available. We have Shadows in the Mire, rewards you with a double Moss Jaw passive catch rate for the Elder Mossripper. Catch 300 legendary mythical fish with the Elder Mossripper, and I believe it also has to have the Shrouded mutation, which will then give you that passive ability. You also have Roots of Corruption, which rewards you with a Moss Jaw boat. Perfect catch 150 fish with the Elder Mossripper and the Mossy mutation. Then finally, we have Voice of the Ancient Jaw, which gives you the Elder Spirit Rod skin. Perfect catch 5 Elder Moss Jaws with the Elder Mossripper. Kind of insane, man, but at the end of it all, you will get yourself a golden Elder Mossripper Rod skin. But yeah, this is what it looks like right here. Very, very cool rod. Obviously, the best looking out of the 3. If we make our way down here, you guys can sort of see this in action here. Let's go ahead and do some fishing. You can see that my screen is literally going insane. I don't even, what in the world? Look at the sky. Bro, what? I kind of want to go fish outside. Wait, hold on. We actually ended up getting a big shrouded fish barrel there. So I decided to come over here to Moosewood and let's sort of test this out here. I kind of want to see how that changes like the skybox when we do end up getting shrouded. So give me 1 second here. Let's see if we can get it to spawn again. Okay, so it doesn't look as cool outdoors. It only looks really cool when you're inside of somewhere. That makes sense. But yeah, we ended up getting a mossy salmon right here. So that's what that looks like, as well as a shrouded anchovy, or probably best if I show you guys the fish barrel here. But shrouded looks sick, bro. Look at that. That's wild. So yeah, man, hopefully this helps you out. I know that a lot of you were reaching out to me and asking. So again, this video is for you guys specifically. If you enjoyed it, make sure to drop a like, subscribe to the channel. I'll see you guys in the next one. Take care.